And really, I'm thinking, why am I hearing about this cat's anus right now? Things that happen to me at conventions, I don't think happen to anybody else. Hi y'all, SnarkyJay Cosplay here. I've been wanting to do something sort of fun on this channel for a while. As you all know, the cosplay and SnarkyJay Cosplay is because I've been cosplaying now for over 7 years, which means I've spent a lot of time either as an attendee or as a guest at tons of conventions in and around Florida. So I thought, why not come on here and tell you guys some of these stories? This isn't going to be my usual YouTube video where I put into practice all the media training that I haven't had, by the way. This is you and me. Think about this video as if you had approached me at a bar and made the unfortunate mistake of asking what I do for a living. That's what this is gonna be. I want to share these stories with you guys. I want to entertain you, alright? Get comfy, settle in with a nice drink or some popcorn or something, and let's dive deep into some of my favorite and or just worth mentioning convention stories. MegaCon 2022, my dad and I go, and I had one big thing that I needed to accomplish. I wanted to meet Troy Baker. If the name doesn't automatically ring a bell to you, look at this guy's IMDb. It is incredible. He's been in probably every video game you've ever heard of. He's Joel in The Last of Us, Booker DeWitt in BioShock Infinite, he's Delsin Rowe in infamous Second Son, he's also Batman in the Telltale series, and when I was like 14, 15 years old, I had such a crush on him. So I said, you know what? We're gonna meet Troy Baker. I don't care how long the line is. So I get in line, I had some art that I made for him, and I'm talking to this friend that I made, and somebody goes, oh, I know, right? He's taking so long, but like right over my shoulder, and when I turn around, it's Troy Baker, who thinks he's got jokes. So I'm like, yeah, some people just have no consideration for anybody else's time. He looks at me, looks me up and down, and I'm wearing my Catwoman suit. And so he starts asking me about the whip, right? And granted, now the entire line has realized that Troy Baker is here and he's talking to us. So people are taking out their phones, they're recording, everybody's got this big smile on their face. And he looks at my whip and he goes, do you know how to crack that thing? And I'm like, do I look like the kind of woman that carries a whip I don't know how to crack? I did learn to crack the whip after entirely too much time spent out in my yard, cracking it over and over and annoying the shit out of my neighbors. So he takes it out of my hand. It's a 7-foot bull whip and he's sort of admiring it. Eventually, somebody wanders over and goes, Mr. Baker, can I get a photo? And he has literally put the end of the whip, the handle, back into my hand, wrapped the other end of it around his own neck, and we posed for a picture. And I've never been more glad to have anything on video because I know that y'all would never believe me if I didn't have proof. Well, there you go. It's all there. I continued to wait in the line because I wanted to give him his art. Look at the look on his face when he notices it's me that's next in line. I don't know how to describe this expression, but let me just tell you that Troy Baker is genuinely one of the coolest people I've ever met. Another story I have to share with you guys is a tale of triumph, which I don't have very often. So I used to compete really often in cosplay contests back in the day. I really don't as much anymore because a lot of people know me within my local community, so I feel like it's just really not fair. And also, I've been on the other side of cosplay contests, and I've seen a lot of the bullshit that judges come up with to basically confirm their own bias, a lot of the shenanigans that go on behind the scenes. So to me, it's really not worth it for me to offer up hundreds of hours of work to people who at the end of the day are probably just gonna pick a costume that they liked. But back in 2021, I made the drive up to Tampa for Tampa Bay Comic Con because I wanted to compete in my Mandalorian cosplay. So after we wait in a literal 2-hour line for prejudging, I managed to stumble through the entire process. I had a little book that I made. I used to be very into this stuff. And so my dad and I go, we wander around the convention in circles for I don't know how long, and I was really into the whole like this is the way thing back then, so I'm not even taking off my helmet. My head hurts, I'm sweaty, I'm hungry, I'm dehydrated, I'm not having a good time. So by the end of the day, it's now around 5, it's time for the contest, so my dad and I wander back, and he goes out to the audience to sit and watch for me. Eventually I come out, I do my little dancey dance on stage, and when I go to walk off stage, they go, what number are you? I tell them the number, and they say, stay back here. So I'm seeing everybody else though, go back out front. But there's already like 4 or 5 people hanging out backstage, and when I look at the caliber of the cosplays that I'm standing next to, I go, oh shit, this might be a f***ing win. They start calling the winners, and the winners are only the people that they've kept backstage. So when they call for best TV, they call me. And look at the pride. Look how hard I'm nodding. I'm not even taking time to pose or be a real Mando here. I was just so ecstatic.
First of all, I'd like to thank the Academy.
To have my work be validated, and on top of that, be validated in front of my dad, because he's really supportive, but I think to a certain extent, he still thinks this stuff is kind of nonsense. So I think having him there to see me win was so much better. Sorry for that weird light, guys. I didn't notice that my curtain had opened a little bit and was casting a really weird light on my face. So usually getting attention and getting photos taken of my cosplay is a big reason for why I do conventions, but I also like to do them just to hang out. So last year, my best friend, his wife, and I, we went to a smaller sort of local con. It was about 40 minutes drive away from us. And so we went up just to have a good time. And they had karaoke. My best friend Adrian, who was featured on my Godzilla video, Adrian's a little shy. And I told him, you know what, if I do karaoke, you have to do karaoke. That was the deal. His wife was also gonna do karaoke. So she goes first, does a Paramore song, kills it. Fantastic. I love singing, but I don't think I'm particularly good at it. So I go up and I do I'm Still Standing by Elton John.
And did you think this move would never win? Well, look at me, I'm coming back again. I got a taste for love and a simple way. And if you need to know while I'm still standing, you just fade away. Don't you know I'm still standing better than I ever did?
I was f***ing terrified, but when I tell you that people were singing along and clapping and I was grooving, I don't know that I would ever do karaoke again, but that was a lot of fun, and I ended up being the last one because they ran out of time, so Adrian actually didn't even have to sing. At that same convention, Adrian actually went dressed up as Spider-Noir, you know, Nicolas Cage's character in the Spider-Verse movies. He brought a Rubik's Cube with him, unsolved, out of the package, and this guy walks over, and he goes, "Can I solve that Rubik's Cube?" He looks at Adrian's Rubik's Cube, and then he looks at me. So Adrian goes, "Yeah, sure." Tosses in the Rubik's Cube. It took this guy, I shit you not, catches the Rubik's Cube, 10 seconds, right? Solved, done. I go, what the f? And you can tell by the smug grin on his face, that's exactly what he wanted to do. He wanted to prove to my dumbass that that motherfucker knew some witchcraft. He walks away. He's gotten back to his friends, and they're holding a backpack for him. That dude dips his hand in the bag. You know what he pulls out? 2 more Rubik's Cubes, each one with more squares on it than the last. This guy walks around conventions solving more and more complicated Rubik's Cubes. This guy was on level like 300 and saw Adrian with his basic ass Rubik's Cube and said, "I'm gonna show you something." I want to tell y'all about the time that I thought me and Hayden Christensen, who plays Anakin Skywalker in the Star Wars prequels, I genuinely thought we were gonna get married.
Stop it. Get some help.
So I wanted to meet him at Florida SuperCon 2022, and listen, I don't have the cash flow to be dropping almost $300 on a photo op, but I mentioned that I at least wanted to go approach him at his table, and one of my followers was actually kind enough to fund the photo op experience. And one of my other followers and good friends actually sent me Padme's lake dress, so I said, all right, we're doing this. If you haven't heard me say it in enough videos, I'm half Cuban and was raised very Cuban. So we have a saying that says, "Yo no vine de Cuba para hacer cola," which basically means I didn't come from Cuba to wait in line. But I said, you know what, for Anakin, I'll do it. It took literally like an hour and a half. When I get to this opening of the curtain, Hayden and I make eye contact. This is a true story, guys. I'm not doing this to entertain you. We make eye contact, and so they call me into the room, and the way that he's looking at me, I have not been looked at like this by a man probably ever in my life. He wasn't looking at me or any of this, he was looking at my soul. And this was back in the time where you had a little piece of plexiglass to protect you from COVID, because that's how that works. And so I stood on the other side, and we're still just kind of like just looking at each other, right? Because he's very dreamy in person. I'm getting a little bit lost in his eyes, a little bit. I don't know if he's getting lost in mine, but I'm feeling something. And so he goes, "What do you want to do for the picture?" I kind of look down at my feet for a second, gathering my thoughts, and I go, "Well, I wanted to do something a little romantic. I'll put my hand on the glass like this." And I kind of give him like a, you know, that's kind of what I wanted to do. And we just make eye contact. The photographers, I kid you not, go, "Aww," and I'm thinking, what the hell is happening right now? And so I chuckle, he chuckles, and we both look over, and that's when we snap the picture. And actually, I have a physical print of the picture, hold on. I keep it up here because it's important to me. Okay. This is, will the camera focus on it if I cover my face? Maybe, oh, right? Can we just look at his face right now? I look like a quinceañera. I don't even know how to explain that look on his face, but I love it. And as I'm waiting for this baby to be printed, the family that was waiting to take their photo op behind me walks over. And the wife goes, oh my God, did you see the way he was looking at you? And I'm thinking like, okay, so it's not just in my head. I spent a lot of time reading reader insert fan fiction on Tumblr when I was in middle school, but this is real, this was real. And her husband says to me, well, it's probably because you look a little bit like his ex-wife. And I'm like, this is news to me, pal. This is Rachel Bilson. I guess in the whole like big brown eyes, dark eyebrows, dark hair sort of tan, that's probably where they were coming from. So later on in the day, I waited in another line, in his autograph line. Look at me not being Cuban for once, to give him a print of some art that I had done for him. And he goes, oh my God, it's you again. Jay, right? Because I had told him my name. Mind you, he's behind like more plexiglass. There's like a hole in the plexiglass for you to like slide whatever he's autographing through. So I slide the art through. He has come out from behind the glass and put his hand on the table. So I'm thinking, nice firm handshake, chief. But I put my hand in and he has cupped my hand between his two. And he goes, thank you so much, Jay. By the way, you make a beautiful Padme. And at this point, I lose any sense of game that I had. And my response to him is, you make a great Anakin, as if he's not the only guy that's ever played him in live action. So he laughs, and I go, thank you, and I just turned around and walked away. And to this day, I regret not putting my phone number on that art. Not that he would have called me, right? But like, wouldn't it have been awesome if he had? MegaCon 2023 was huge for me. I was actually a guest. I think one of the worst things about MegaCon 2023 was the fact that I had the kit car exhibition behind me. So I was just hearing the kit sound effects the entire time, you know, Kit from Knight Rider. It was driving me up the wall. But I genuinely had an amazing experience at MegaCon. I had so much fun meeting so many different people. But I had one guy that I wish would have stayed away from my table. Bless his heart, but what the So I'm sitting at my table on Sunday. I'm dressed as Black Cat. I've now been at this for 4 days. I'm exhausted. This guy walks up and he says, I want to ask you something ridiculous. So I go, what is it? And he goes, so I want to take a picture with you. And I'm like, yeah, we can take a picture. And he goes, no, but see, my idea is, so I'm gonna crouch, right? Let me just tell you guys, this is not a particularly big dude. So he says that what he'd like to do is crouch, have me sit on his shoulders where his head is between my thighs. And then he wants to stand up and flex for a picture. And I go, absolutely not. Your head is not going anywhere near my thighs. Would you like a regular picture? And he goes, well, what I really want to do is this. And I go, okay, well, what I really want to tell you to do is walk away from my table so we can either take a regular selfie or you can go. Needless to say, he took the regular selfie. I don't know if I was the only girl that he asked this to all day. But think about it this way. Would you ask somebody who's ringing up your groceries that? No, because they're a stranger. Why would you want to weird out a stranger? That's me. Don't weird me out. Anyway, whatever. I was a day guest at Holmat, which is Holiday Matsuri. It's a Christmas-themed convention in Orlando. Let me tell you, if you walk up to my table, I'm gonna make conversation because I want to entertain you. I want you to walk out of that convention and know that meeting me was a highlight for you. And this guy comes up and I start chatting him up and he's looking through my prints, so I'm, still trying to entertain him. And he has gone on an 8-minute discussion about how his cat was getting neutered and it had like anal fissures or something. And really I'm thinking, why am I hearing about this cat's anus right now? Things that happen to me at conventions, I don't think happen to anybody else. So 2024 MegaCon, I wanted to go. I was not going to be a guest, but I was still gonna be there. And my good friends Edwin and Jack, shout out to them over at CMI Toys. They said, you know what? Why don't you let us host you at our table? We can set up a spot for you, you can sell prints, you can talk to people. I bought new prints, I bought materials, I bought candies to give out to people at conventions. Because I'm not gonna give you candy and tell you to get in my van, but I am gonna give you candy and suggest you buy a print from me so that I can put gas in my car to get back home. And on the very first day, Friday, that I was there, I had a bunch of people come by asking about me, and I was thrilled. I was planning on doing a whole lot more Saturday and Sunday, because I wasn't gonna leave until Sunday after the con. So by the end of our con day on Friday, because we were pretty tired, Adrian, his wife, and I, who I'm always with at these things, we decide, you know what, let's head out early, let's go over to Disney Springs, let's go to the f***ing Rainforest Cafe, because I don't care what anybody says, I love the Rainforest Cafe. So we get back to the hotel, and we start getting dressed to go to the Rainforest Cafe. My big mistake here is that I had been at Disney World the few days before. I get sick almost every time I go to Disney World because I'm a germaphobe and I avoid crowds and a lot of people, and even though I sanitize my hands constantly, I think my immune system is not prepped to be around coughing kids and their disgusting parents. By the time I get back to the hotel to change, to go to the Rainforest Cafe, I feel like my legs are killing me. Like I'm in pain. And I'm thinking, well, I was in big platform boots. I wear 5-inch platforms for Catwoman. I must be tired. My legs are tired. When we sit down at the Rainforest Cafe, which isn't a very cold restaurant, I've been there before, I'm shivering. I'm wearing long sleeves and I'm shivering. I eat the burger quick because I'm thinking, all right, I need to replenish my electrolytes. I need a little salt and fat, put me back on the map. Still awful. We order the chocolate volcano, which is the greatest dessert to ever live. Oh my God, I love that thing. It tastes like a cosmic brownie, just huge with ice cream. It's amazing. I'm not even enjoying it because I'm so cold. I get back to the hotel, I lay down. My body hurts. I'm still freezing. So I'm like, you know what, I'll take a shower, I'll go to bed early. At midnight, I wake up thinking it's 6 a.m., thinking I've been asleep this long, and I'm drenched in sweat. And by the time I wake up, my throat is shot. And I go, oh, fuck my life. I'm sick with something. I obviously am not gonna go to a convention. I'm not even gonna go back and pick up my stuff. I wasn't gonna go risk getting anybody else sick, and I honestly just felt like shit. So at literally 7 in the morning, I call my mom and I'm like, I'm coming back home. I got in my car and made a 4-hour drive, flu-ridden. I was crying for parts of the drive because I felt so sickly and so awful, and then got an ear infection so bad that I developed vertigo and had to go to an ear doctor to be spun around by an old white guy who had no interest in listening to my story. That was a $100 copay to fix my ear. So not only did I miss a convention, but I also busted up my ear for no reason. Folks, I've had some interesting times at conventions. There's a lot of shit that I think traumatically I've just blocked out and not wanted to process, but I hope that you guys have enjoyed these. Honestly, this year I want to do a lot more convention vlogs, bring you guys along with me so that you can see what these are like for me. Let me know if that's something you'd like to see, actually. That's all from me. I've been SnarkyJay. Thank you so much for watching. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. For more SnarkyJay, be sure to check me out on Instagram, and if you'd like to support me, this channel, and my content creation, do check out and consider subscribing to my Patreon for exclusive content and special photo shoot sets. I will add links to both in the description below, and let me know some of your convention stories in the comments below.